Hi, this is Andy Black. In this video series, I'm going to talk about the things I learned in over 10 years of being an IT contractor. I was in IT for about 15 years. First 5 years, I was a permanent employee. In the last 10 years, I was a contractor, which meant I went onto client sites and I sat amongst a team with permanent employees and other contractors, did exactly the same work as the permanent people and just got paid differently. I ended up invoicing the business at the end of the month. I didn't get a regular monthly salary. I just invoiced them for the days worked or weeks worked, and they paid me, and I was responsible for all my taxes and my health, making sure I had enough health insurance, pension was getting paid, and all these other things. So what I learned, one of the first things I learned as an IT contractor was I was going to live and die by my ability to get an interview for the next contract and to do well in that interview. And the most important thing for getting an interview is your CV, as everybody knows. So as an IT contractor, I would have a very technical CV, but as most technical people do, they're very good at writing out what they can do for a business and all the skills they have. But what they're not very good at doing is making sure that that CV gets into the hands of the right person who's actually going to look at it and see the value that you can add to that team and to the business. So if your CV, so here's an old copy of mine, so I haven't been an IT contractor for a while. If your CV has all the technical details that show you can do the job, but it doesn't get through to a decision maker who's actually then even going to call you to an interview, then it's not worth the paper it's printed on. So the most important thing to realize about your CV is its role is purely to get you to an interview. And even just getting through to the decision maker in a business, your CV is going to go through a lot of different hands. So this is how I often visualize how your CV, the journey that your CV is going to make when it goes through a business. So there might be a business somewhere and there's a team that has a chair, right? So there's a role available. Maybe it's come available because somebody's left, maybe somebody's gone on maternity leave, or maybe the team suddenly has more work to do and they need an extra body for a while or permanently. So within that team, there might be a team leader, or there might be a senior, and that person might identify that the team is having problems and needs another body. So they're going to come up with a business case and justify having another person in the team or replacing somebody who's left. Often they're going to have to even justify replacing somebody who's left. Like a business is typically or often are going to be quite happy to have teams getting smaller, reducing the cost and everybody working more. So this team leader knows the work that needs done, knows the kind of person that they need and the skill set, and is going to go cap in hand off to the hiring manager, somebody they report into who's in charge of some budget. So I'll call that the hiring manager. So they've got a business case of why they need another body, and they're going to go to the hiring manager and explain, well, we need somebody, this is a spec we want another person like such and such, or we want somebody like the person who's just left or gone on maternity leave. The hiring manager is going to look at this, say, yeah, okay, yeah, I'll approve that, and maybe I'll add a few more things. Maybe project management skills will be handy and various other things. So the requirements may change slightly or get added to when it gets up to a hiring manager. In a really big company, there might be a HR person or HR team, and their job is to help the other people in the business to manage the human resources, that's what it means, but also to help with hiring. So not just help with all the HR issues and the rest of it, but to help the hiring manager to get more people or more CVs through. And the role of the HR person will often be to vet the job spec that's going to go out and make sure that it adheres to company standards, and maybe they add some more stuff, the fluffier stuff about what the company does, company ethos and all the rest of it. The HR person in a really big company, they're busy doing lots of HR stuff. They don't want to spend all day sifting through CVs. So if they send out a job onto the internet and they get a ton of CVs coming through, they can spend all day sifting through them. And I can tell you, I've had hiring managers show me how quickly they will look through a CV. If they've got a stack of CVs on the desk and they've set aside a period of time to go through CVs, they might just pick up a CV and give it a 3-second scan and it's either in the yes pile or the no pile. It's that quick. So the HR person is not going to want to get too many CVs through and spend all day looking through CVs trying to match whether those CVs are a good match for the role, because they're often helping lots of different hiring managers in the company to get lots of different CVs and people for different roles. So what will often happen is the HR person will deal with lots of agents, recruitment agents. And sometimes they're going to have a preferred list of recruitment agents. So they'll immediately, as soon as they get in a requirement for an Oracle DBA, that's what I used to be, an Oracle database administrator, they'll send out to all the IT recruiters they know and say, hi, we need an Oracle DBA to start in 4 weeks. They need to have this much experience and be familiar with these versions of Oracle and worked on a Unix system or whatever. The agents are going to look through their database and see if people who are already on their database who have those skill sets, and then they're going to ring them up and say, hi, are you available? Are you free? How's your contract going? And then they're going to go through it as quick as they can to try and find some good CVs to send through to the HR person. HR person might have 3-5 preferred agencies they're going to use, and they might even stipulate to these agencies, we only want your best 3 CVs. And there's a race now for these guys to find the best people who are in the market currently, the best DBAs, and get their CV in and say it's come from them. All right, so if I was on a contract somewhere, I might suddenly get a load of phone calls in that day from all these different agencies. Hi, we got a contract going, and they need somebody to start immediately or start in 4 weeks' time. And I'll often be saying, well, so can you tell me who the client is? And they might say, well, it's XYZ Corp or XYZ Limited. And I'll be like, oh, okay, sorry, somebody already spoke to me about that one, and yeah, my CV's already gone in. So as soon as that happens, if your CV's already gone in through one agency, all the other agencies can't and shouldn't be sending your CV in, because what will happen is if HR gets your CV in twice from 2 different people, often they're just going to bin it. They're just going to say, well, we don't want to get involved in a dispute if this person gets hired, or like who's going to get the commission on it. We just don't want to be involved. It's typically going to be whoever got the CV in first, but how are you going to prove it? It's going to be via emails, but I rang before that time and I said I was going to send it through, and they just don't want to be involved. So as an actual IT contractor, one of the things I did was as IT contractors we'd have to do is make sure that we knew who the client was and we gave the agency permission to send our CV in. So what might be happening here is the agencies, they search through their database of known people who are contractors in that area, in that location as well. So I'd be on their list already. They'd contact me. I'd say, I'm sorry, I'm in a contract. It's got another 6 months to go. Get back to me if blah, 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 if the rate's attractive, etc. And they will send in their best CVs. If they haven't got enough to fill up the best 3, and often they're going to send in ones that they don't think are going to have a chance of getting the contract because they've wasted one of their 3, they're then going to go to the market and they're going to advertise on the web, and they're going to put the CV up on a job board or something like that. And out there is going to be all these people looking for IT contracts. And one of them is you. So by the time you get to see a contract or a role being advertised on a job board, that role probably is already, people are already being interviewed for that role, because what's happened is these techies down here, the team leader said, oh, we need somebody. Do you know somebody? Do you think Barry, who used to work here, do you think he might be available? Does anybody know anybody? So they'll get CVs in this way. Then the hiring manager might be, oh yes, I know somebody who I used to work with, or I'll speak to somebody in another team if they know somebody. So internally, the wheels are already in motion. Gets through to HR. HR is going to go, oh, hold on, we advertised last year, didn't we? Had a big list of CVs. Let's go through the ones that we brought through for interview, and see if they're available, and why did we not give them a role? Were there some that we liked but we only had one role? Then they get through to the agencies, and the agencies send through their best ones, the ones are already in their database. So all of this is in motion. By the time you come along and see, oh, there's a role, I better send my CV in, you're going to find you're at the back of the queue already. You're going to be at the bottom of the pile. So one of the first mindset shift I had was to realize that when I saw an actual role being advertised, is that I would send in my CV to that agency or that recruiter and say, hi, I saw a role that was advertised on this job board for an Oracle DBA with 5 years experience. I've got 7 years experience and I've been doing this, that and the next thing. Here's my CV. The CV would go through to them. I'd give them a ring like 5 minutes later to say, hi, I just sent through, can I speak to Bob? It's about an Oracle DBA role that I saw advertised on jobboard.ie or jobboard.co.uk. And so I'll get through, so that's one gatekeeper immediately, get through to Bob and be like, Bob, hi, I just saw a role that you had advertised. I'm an Oracle DBA, I've been doing it for 7 years, worked for these big corporations. Oh, great, I've sent my CV through, I'm just checking to see you've got it. So they would then check their email, then we'd have a very quick chat about this through the CV, and then a phone would be down and my wheels are in motion. But one of the first mindset changes I had was to realize I'm probably not going to get that contract. If I do, it's because all the CVs that I've gone through, they didn't find somebody suitable. So maybe I do, that'd be great. But I now know, and I now am known by an recruitment agent and possibly others, if I send it through to others, who knows I'm in the market, I've spoken, and my CV is kind of now top of his pile for the next contract that comes in. Anyway, so just wanted to go through all the different people who are involved in this process so that you realize your CV has got to get potentially to get through to an agent. The agent is then potentially only got 3 best CVs they can send through to HR. So they're going to filter you there. So there's a gatekeeper here who's not even going to let you talk to HR. HR is going to get the CVs through. So maybe 3 from 5. So get 15 CVs in the first round. They're going to filter through the CVs and find out which ones are good, which ones are bad, ring back the agent, go, stop sending these rubbish ones. We want somebody with Oracle, not Sybase. And then the HR, they're going to filter it until it gets through to hiring manager, who's then going to speak to the team leader if he sees ones that he likes. So before your CV gets through all these people and gets to a team leader, the person who actually came up with a business case for a body in his team or her team, before it gets to that person, the person who wrote this job spec and the technical skills that they needed, is going to have to get through potentially a hiring manager, HR, and an agent. So your CV has to be written, and your whole process of getting the CV in and through these people has to be written so that it satisfies the checklists for each of these stages and each of these people. So the first page of your CV has to appeal to each one of these people. And then what I typically do is I assume, right, so my CV is 3 pages long at the minute. What's the saying, some people say, well, that's too long. Others say, well, that's grand. My thoughts on CV is the same as mini skirts. It's got to be long enough to cover everything, but short enough to be interesting. So I've just distracted myself now. So your CV, I've got a 3-page CV, and the second 2 pages, I assume they're going to get lost. I assume that it comes out of the printer because it's going to get emailed through, and they don't staple it, and they lose the other 2. And I want them to be sold on the first page of my CV. They look at the first page and they go, this is great. Where's them other 2 pages? And then go back and print them again. All right. So that's the first step, is your first page of your CV. It sells the second 2 pages. But the first page of that CV has got to appeal to each of these people and allow them to do their job, which is to get your CV to the next person. Okay. So in the next video, so this video has already gone on longer than I was expecting. In the next video, I'll actually show a copy of a CV I had and how each of the sections works to get through the agency, the HR, the hiring manager, team leader, and get you an interview. Okay, so thanks for watching. I hope that helped, and I'll see you next time.